Alright, welcome back. We've got a different kind of video today, more of a discussion video. I'm joined by my friend Shifti, and we are going to just talk about some Magic and see the differing opinions as we both play different games. He primarily plays Alchemy, which I know is weird, but
Hey, don't hate.
he enjoys the Alchemy, and that's fine. I would actually like to get into Alchemy, maybe try and test something new, but I guess we'll find out. But if you find yourself coming back to these videos, if you could hit that subscribe button for me, it'd be greatly appreciated. Small act from you, huge deal from me, so just hit it. And also, don't be a bitch, watch the video to the end. Alright, now with all that nonsense out of the way, let's go ahead and start with talking about the bans.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's been like a week or so we've had time to kind of go through it, and I know we have some differing opinions on the ban, but as an Alchemy player, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, differing opinions or not, I think we all agree, like, why was Bankbuster banned? It don't make no sense to me. It's not an overpowered card. It doesn't ever, it's a useful card when you use it correctly, but if you don't, it's just another artifact. So I don't really know what that was about. It feels to me like they're trying to make it a popularity contest. They're like, oh, it was in so many decks, so now we're going to ban it. And I'm like, so are you trying to make cards that we like or don't?
Yeah, that was my thought too. It's like, I love playing the Bankbuster, and they said they want to extend the standards so people can play cards they like, but then they go and ban the card that I like. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand Kiki and Invoke being despaired. Now, I'm in the camp of I still don't agree with Invoke because fuckboy enchantments, it's a good way to, shit on them. But with the Bankbuster, it makes me very sad. Now, I'm glad I can still play it in the other modes, but I think that they're trying to make some of their newer cards that have draw effects be more prevalent. But I think Bankbuster is just an all-around good card for any deck. Yeah. So I don't have to pick and choose and be like, well, let me try this draw spell. Will this help me out? And then it takes all that crap away.
Yeah, I personally don't use it, but I've never played against it and been like, oh man, if it weren't for that Bankbuster, I'd have won or whatever. You know what I mean? It's never like that. It's a good utility card. I see the versatility, and I appreciate that. I just personally don't use it. I don't use Kiki or Invoke Despair either, but I've never felt like run over by those cards like I do, say, a Rot Priest or a Shieldred or something like that. Those cards, when you lose to those cards, it feels like you can't do anything about it, sometimes. But,
yeah, my distaste for the Rot Priest, the Ivy Rot Priest, god damn, I hated that deck.
I mean,
I'm glad I don't see it.
Don't get me twisted. I play that deck all the time. I love it. But, I mean, just because I don't care for the poison counter thing, it's still one of the most effective ways to win in the game right now, so that's what I'm playing.
It really is. Like, I still see a lot of poison decks, and they're always very interesting, though my favorite is the actual Selesnya, the white-green version of it. I actually like that one a lot.
That's what I went Mythic with, was the Selesnya ones.
Yeah, I would not be surprised about that. I'm sure we're going to see more Toxic to come with the new set, something Eldraine, whatever. I think this next month or something. Kind of excited for that set, but the other thing too is, I think as far as the bans go, I think banning 3 cards changed absolutely nothing. 3 cards is not enough.
Look, when Meat Hook Massacre was dominating this whole game, like you couldn't play without it or without a way to deal with it, then it was good. That one card getting banned made a huge impact. But you're banning cards that don't need to be banned. It's not going to make that big of an impact aside from discouraging players that liked them. You know what I mean? So
I guess they were trying to lower the power of Rakdos, but as
ain't gonna do it.
It didn't work. Yeah.
If you want to do that, you're gonna have to ban Black. just
get
Black.
it out. Yeah. I just don't think they went far enough with it. I think there was a couple other cards that probably should have got axed. I know it's too soon, but fuck you, Calyx. I don't think you should be a card.
Yeah, that's a pretty gross card.
That one tends to annoy me the most. Not just simply because it's power. I'm just tired of seeing that deck.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it. Between that and Mono Red, I can't handle it. I need new decks.
That and how cheap white enchantments are to exile everything, whatever. I think that's a pretty sick way to duplicate that effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it becomes just unstoppable.
I played the deck a little bit, and I was like, I felt cheap for doing it too. I was like, I'm not doing this for anybody anymore.
That's why I really hope the new set, the Eldraine, will do something new. I'm tired of all these sets coming out, and their only purpose is to boost the same fucking meta decks that we see. Like, that's irritating the crap out of me.
That's exactly why I play Alchemy. It's because they have new rules, they have flexibility where they can do stuff that's outside the box that we're not used to. It keeps the game fresh for me.
Okay, see, that's an idea too. If you guys want to see me delve into Alchemy, you know, I'll use his help to do it, but because I don't know shit about it. But if you want to see it, let me know down below, and maybe I'll start doing a bit of Alchemy and seeing how it goes. Not that I'm going to quit Standard.
It's a good hobby. Oh yeah, I still play Standard too, but
I just want to change it up a bit, you know, new stuff.
Now with the way that they're cycling cards now, it's going to be a little trickier to do both. It was used to be easier to think in parallels, but
that does bring me to the next topic of why I don't really want to get into Alchemy. The fucking racist Lord of the Rings set.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure I want to buy into that to play Alchemy.
I don't know if I'm ready for it either, but you know, whatever.
But I will be interested to know that when it does come out, if it's going to affect your decks when you do play Alchemy. So I'll definitely keep in touch with you on that, because that would be a good thing to know.
For sure.
Or if you want to one day have me showcase some of your Alchemy decks, because I doubt I have.
probably not built, but yeah, we can do that for sure.
To kind of show Alchemy and see if people like it, and kind of show me, because as far as I go, I never really buy the Alchemy cards except for the you know, like the 10 or 15k one when the set first comes out for Alchemy. They'll give you like 20 packs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will buy those just to see what's in there, because I love Magic and I love the cards.
Yeah.
And I want to see what's going on.
And you can get it with gold too. Usually those little packs are free basically. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's an expensive hobby, you know. If you're doing like how I'm doing, I've spent more money than I care to admit on this game, but I do have fun. Even though I do get pissed off at things and the stupid decisions that Wizard makes for the game.
Yeah.
At the heart of it, I love this game, because every time I open a pack, I'm always brought back to the days at our local card shop of, you know, being kids and opening packs and playing the most jank decks in the world, you know, but having fun. Whether we got shit on or whether we won, it never really mattered. And one of the big things I've noticed when I'm playing Standard is everybody has just become so obsessed with, I have to win to have fun kind of mentality. And I want to try and change that. Like, yes, I get pissed at the game, but I get pissed at seeing the same decks. But losing never irritates me. I love to see good combos pop off.
Yeah, I never mind if I lose and I just lose to another player, better player with a little better luck. But when I lose because I draw 7 lands in a row, or I lose because all of a sudden my deck only has 1 land in it.
But that brings me to an interesting point of when we were playing as kids, playing so much physical Magic. I've never once drawn 7 lands in a row.
7 lands is too much, right?
That is insane.
Yeah, I've clumped on lands before, you know, maybe 4 or something like that. But by then, usually the game's over anyway. You can go 4 turns with no draw. But
I think it's the downside to their algorithm as they use the percentage, like RNG numbers.
Yeah.
I think they should change that to not take into account the amount of cards, but the one type of cards.
Right.
And do the RNG that way, so it's not like, oh, you run 12 mountains, so that's going to pop up more often than nothing. But if it counts 1 mountain, or like one of your lightning bolts or whatever, and then do the RNG system that way, I think it would be a little bit more balanced.
So this is what I've started doing is I'll take, even if I'm going to have 12 forests, I'm going to do 4 of one, and then I'm going to go to a different set and put 4 of another, and I'm going to keep it down to where nothing will overshadow any other card quantity wise like that. But I really try to I run non-basics or whatever to keep it down to like 4. I only have 4 basic lands of each type and then non-basics after that. And yeah, it's a little bit of an issue, but I also flood less. You know, so
it kind of works doing it?
I feel like it does. Y'all can test it out. Y'all try it out and let me know what you think. And
I think I'll actually try it out
tell
too.
Me if it doesn't. It might change some shit. Maybe it's just me being optimistic because I'm trying it and I just don't want to get screwed over as often as I am. But I feel like I'm losing 3 out of 5 just to the shuffler. You know what I mean?
It feels like the games. You never lose to the opponent most of the time. You're losing to the shuffler.
And that's what I hate that's the losses that I hate. I can't stand it when I feel like I'm not even given a chance to do anything, and that's what I hate.
Or when your starting hand has like 3 of the same card in it.
Yeah.
Like, how is that?
And then your next draw is that card still. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
All right.
You're playing soldiers, and they're like, haha, I started with 3 brutal Cathars, and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's like they tried to flaw the shuffle or some, and they just kind of, like, the shuffler got carried away with it. But what I'm still confused about is when they're keeping cards in play longer, so they're not going to cycle out for another year. These Apex cards that are running the game, that are dominating the game right now, aren't going to go away. They're not going to become less good because they're older. They're just going to stay there longer. And so that kind of feels counterintuitive to me to, like, are you trying to diversify the meta, or are you trying to stagnate it? Because if you're going to have Shieldred there for a whole nother year, we know that there's going to be those kinds of decks for a whole nother year.
This is what I was saying in the discussion video, too. It's like it feels like their sets are only bolstering the old decks, and we're not getting anything new.
Yeah.
You barely see, like, I've made a couple of new decks, original decks, but I never come up against them. I never see anybody using them. They use the same 5, like, whatever they saw on the tournament, you know,
right.
That's the decks people use. And it's like,
yeah,
Magic's about creativity.
Yeah.
Most of the fun for me in Magic is actually making a deck.
Yeah, I like getting into the meta with just some whatever deck I made at home and winning with it, you know what I mean? Like that's like the challenge that I really look forward to the most, I think, when I play this game, is getting to Mythic and then smashing them with a deck they've never seen before, you know what I mean? Because you'll win a lot just off of that. They're prepared for the other three meta decks or whatever, you know, mono reds and mono whites and mono blacks now, but
fucking Esper Legends.
Yeah.
Good God.
They're prepared for all that, but if you come with, you know, some, I don't know, jank ass Boros deck, or you know, you catch them off guard, they'll be trying to figure out what you're playing, and by the time they do that, you won.
Yeah, I tend to get a lot of cheeky wins on meta decks with Ruck deck I showcased a while back. Not a lot of people watched it, but it uses cards that people don't. Nobody uses my boy Ruck.
Yeah,
and it makes me sad. You know, I want my Gremlin deck, and you know he's a legendary Gremlin, so I'm like, okay, I know it says Goblin, but you know whatever, he's a Gremlin.
Same thing.
Yeah, and I get a lot of interesting wins because the deck is not what you see.
Yeah, they're not prepared for it. They don't know what to target. You know what I mean? It's different when someone plays a voice of whatever, and then you're like, okay, I know that's key to their deck, so let me
voice of the blessed.
Yeah, let me interact with it somehow.
Have to kill it now.
Yeah, but and sometimes you can just tell with the card, like in the Devil deck that I run with, as soon as the Devilish Valet hits the table, they pretty much know something's up with that. But at the same time, they also don't know what's happening, because up until then, you know, it takes a minute.
Devilish Valet is a good card too. Yeah, I think people are conditioned because that's all we see is the same damn decks over and over and over. So they're like, okay, Shoulder, I have to kill that now.
Yeah.
Brutal Cathar, I have to kill that now.
Yeah.
Cigar, I gotta kill it now. And it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's people's unwillingness or if they're just afraid to try something different. But I think you might be completely surprised when you do.
I think it's column A and column B. You know what I mean? You can come in with a homebrew that you put a whole lot of work into, and then you just get in there and you hit the metal wall, and you're just like, oh, that's mono red, you know, or whatever it is, and then they'll get discouraged by that. But because you're not going to win them all, and never edit a deck off of one loss. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And if you're worried about mono red, field wipes.
Yeah.
They can barely recover from that.
Yeah.
But because I deal with mono red so much, like I pretty much put in fail safes in all my decks for them.
You have to. I mean, that's part about playing competitively, though, is that you have to expect some of that. So there's always going to be a meta, and it's still, even with them keeping 3 more sets in the standard for all this time, it's still going to whittle down to 4 or 5 decks that everybody's going to run at the meta, because some are going to just work better than others, and some are easier to pilot than others. And so
that's probably the other issue,
as long as that's the case, then, you know what I mean, that's one reason with the mono red popularity is not a whole lot of tactics going on there. You know what I mean? It's pretty much just smash and grab and go.
That's why I call it the brain dead 8 deck.
Yeah. And not to get it twisted, I'm a mono red player, dude. If you're playing me, you might get the business. But I'm just saying, I do understand the lack of appreciation for it when it's, you know, 4 out of 5 decks is the same thing. We want to play for fun. And I know that if I challenge 5 people out here on the street right now that do play Magic, they're not all going to have mono red. You know what I mean? And if they do, they're probably going to be tired of playing it too. So, I don't know. I feel like there's some opportunity for diversity that they're missing with this deck smoothing or whatever it is that makes your opponents and you, like your decks, target each other or whatnot. because there's too much coincidence behind it. It can't be. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there can't. It can't be. It can't be random because I can't randomly only see new opponents when I change the deck, or I can't. You know, what I mean, only have. You know, red's only 15-20% of the meta, but it's 90% of my meta. You know what I mean? It's all people are playing 90.
It's all I freaking see too. Whether I'm playing in casual or if I'm playing in ranked, I see it so damn much that it's like, I guess I understand it in ranked to kind of get you a couple cheap wins, but when I'm playing casual, testing decks to see if they're gonna be, you know, interesting enough to make a video on, it's like, haha. Before you could even do that, here's 5 mono red in a row. Eat it. And I'm like, God damn, boy.
Those were all the ranked players that don't want to like test the deck in ranked. I'm like, that's kind of counterintuitive in itself too. Why are you going to play against non-competitive players to test out your competitive deck? It doesn't make sense. You either get in ranked and get in there and either
and test it, But again, like, it's just, I don't understand certain things that they do with the game. And if they're really trying to bring standard back, you know, or be more prevalent in paper Magic, it's not the cards, it's the goddamn price.
Well, that and their whole criteria for banning is most confusing to me now too, because now it's just like, oh, is this card popular? Are a lot of people using it? Then we're gonna ban it. I'm like, that's not what the bans were for. The bans were for, you know, things that were too easy to exploit.
Game balancing.
Yeah, too easy to exploit, like Meat Hook Massacre. You put that in any deck and it's gonna go well. You know what I mean? It's children. You know?
Back then, you just put black in the deck to run that thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Very frustrating. So, but
yeah, I know that's the problem with how they're doing this now. I feel like is all it's gonna do is they're gonna keep these cards longer. They're gonna stay longer. Then they're gonna grow in popularity, and then they're gonna get banned. So I'm like, are we just trying to get a longer ban list?
That's what I'm thinking is happening. But as also said in the discussion video, man, screw the bans. Just freaking rotate. Rotate the sets. If your sets suck and they're only just bolster cards for the decks of the sets going out, that's your problem, not us. Make sets that can stand on their own 2 feet, not just be like, oh, here's a couple cards that'll make the decks you already use better. But
don't tailor them. You know, but
like even in the drafts, when you see the drafts for these sets, like some of the draft decks are like, wow, that is kind of dumb and barely fits together.
Standalone it's not much, but
and it's like I remember back in the day, you know, like Tempest and Stronghold, my favorite sets. You know, they were both really good, and they, while they did help bolster each other, they brought new stuff to the table. And none of these newer sets are doing that. I'm feeling like the people that are Wizards are just devoid of creativity when it comes to this, or they're just using it as quick cash grabs.
I feel like they're having to put it out so fast, they're probably running out of the ideas, you know what I mean? When they used to have a whole team of these people and they had all this time to make these cards and they were play testing and designing things, they didn't have to go back and like rebalance a card or whatever, because they thoroughly researched it and how it was going to interact with everything, and they got all the best minds they could to do it. But now it's just like they're just trying to rapid fire out sets, you know what I mean? Now,
and it causes the power creep. Now we have all these cards that are just so ridiculously strong that could, like the Obliterator, Shieldred, they could just win games on their own. Your whole deck could be trash, but you put them out and that's it. They win.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing too. It's just like, I think Magic needs what I would call a great wipe. It needs to start again, because like there's nothing. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to be like, okay, we want to make money, so let's just make more powerful cards. More. And it's just like, powerful cards does not make better cards.
They have a cap on some of them, you know what I mean, to an extent. Like direct damage, you're not going to get more than 3 for a mana, or it's going to be 2 mana to kill a creature or whatever. They've got their standards, or I mean, I guess their ceilings there, but there's also not a whole lot you can do to build off of that. I think that what they're doing now is they're not designing it with new mechanics really. I guess maybe it's like nothing interactive or whatever. It's just going to be like a modifier or something, a different way to cast it, but there's no like new interactions, you know, like phasing and things like that. There's no like cool new interactions like that. So
well, I mean, they did have the invasions. I've been kind of liking them. At first I didn't, but the more I play them, I am enjoying them.
I'm not mad at them. I don't use them a whole lot. There's a couple that, you know, that I'll take advantage of, but
Invasion of Gobakon. I use that one way too much. I love it.
I don't know. The invasions, they can go either way. I don't really like playing a card that you have to then destroy. I feel like I'd rather just attack you and get you. But that's the mono red player in me. I'm like, I'd rather just bypass that thing and just hit you in the face. But, you know, to each their own. I've also lost to some invasions. So, you know what I mean? Like, when one goes off, that one that gives every card in your deck convoke, whatever, that one's a motherfucker.
I think that puts a good point on it, too, is Magic is a very, very big, diverse game.
Yeah.
And there's always different ways that people will play it, different ways that they enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, you know, while I am, you know, shitting on certain decks, if you play them and you enjoy the game and have fun while you're doing it, then, as I said, the game has done it. Sure, it's going to irritate the fuck out of me, and I wish they'd add an implementation in the game where I can block players so I can quit seeing the same fucking decks. But that's not going to happen.
Be able to define your own meta thing.
But Magic has always been about playing what you want and having
Yeah.
fun while playing it. So while some people enjoy the quick aggro like you do, or you enjoy the more complicated, you know, jank shit like I do.
I love a good jank. I love a good jank.
Something about the jank always makes me happy.
Dude. Yeah.
But as long as it's doing that, I think it's still, you know, doing its purpose, even if
I mean,
Wizards is a little, you know, missing a few chromosomes when trying to make this game.
They get an A for effort, you know what I mean? They're trying real hard. They're just not, like, doing too great at it. But I feel like this is the thing, too, is, like, Historic. If you played Historic competitively, okay, it's pretty rough in there. And I feel like that's what it's
Don't
gonna
have
make,
enough Historic cards for that.
It's going to make Standard like that to where, basically, by turn 2, if you don't have your infinite combo going off, because there's going to be so many loopholes, like, 3 sets at a time are designed to interact with each other, with the first and the last one being designed to interact with each other. They can kind of, like, ease you into this or ease you out of that. But
yeah, they had the cycles of set.
Yeah.
Every set was a cycle.
But when there's a 3-set gap between cards that are allowed to interact and thing, there's going to be some serious loopholes that are going to come out real quick, and they're going to have to start banning more cards. And then what?
You know,
And then they're going to overturn this whole idea of having a 9-set standard anyway.
I think that's a horrible idea. Just rotate the damn cards,
Yeah.
please. Just rotate.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna save Standard.
I think if you wanted the diversification or whatever, you should have put Lord of the Rings in physical paper Magic and Standard and all that, and left it out of Alchemy. Alchemy's got enough madness out there as it is. And it's
No, leave it in Alchemy because I don't want to buy into that racist ass set. I'm sorry. That's not my Lord of the Rings. I want to buy that shit. I never celebrated so hard to know it wasn't going to be in Standard, and I was like, great. I don't want that trash in my collection.
Yeah, I get it.
God dang. But that's the other thing, too, is like, not to rant too much on it, how do you buy a recognizable license and then race swap characters to be unrecognizable?
Yeah, they're trying to placate too much to a minority group of people. You know what I mean?
Won't get too much into it. It's just my question to them. Why do that? I'm curious. You know, I'm not trying to shit on anybody's beliefs.
Right.
I'll just put it out there. I'm very equal opportunity. I hate everybody's opinions,
Yeah.
even my own.
Yeah.
So don't get all upset with that shit. I hate everything. But I'm just saying, I'm not buying that set physical or digital.
Yeah.
You can fuck right off.
Yep.
You made my favorite character, Boromir, look like a goddamn clown.
Yeah.
That irritates me.
Yeah, I think it's unnecessary pandering. Like when they made Iceman and X-Men gay. Like I'm like that was kind of out of nowhere.
Why?
Yeah, that was
Why?
unnecessary. I get what you're trying to do. I just don't think it's necessary. They're already buying the comics if they're into it. You know what I mean?
It's just
you're not going to
Jesus.
make or break any fans like that. You're not going to make or break any fans by changing the race or whatever. Like they just got good sales off some other movies. You know what I mean? So,
Well, that's the thing. They didn't actually get good sales off of it.
word, that's true.
Most of that shit's failing now because people are like that actually buy comics
Yeah.
and stuff are usually around our age. Same with Magic.
Yeah, that's
And we're not caring about that bullshit. We
Yeah,
want
yeah.
our good stories. We want our beautiful
Yeah.
card art.
Yep.
Like even now, like back in the Stronghold cycle, I very much love the lore. Even got the books and read it. But now I look at this new lore for these sets and I'm like, this is absolute pandering trash.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awful. It's
Yeah.
so awful.
It's crazy.
But I guess that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, you're right. You gotta evolve. You gotta be changing. They're trying. You know what I mean? So it's whatever.
Well, just say if you're gonna try, don't try with an already established license. Try it on your own.
Yeah, I think going for Lord of the Rings was a big deal. But you know, Wizards of the Coast is doing big things between D&D and everything like that. They're just probably getting a little comfortable with being able to do whatever they want. They're like Disney, but for role-playing games. You know what I mean? Like they're just taking over everything and doing what they want.
Which is, you know, very interesting too. Is like, I do miss the days of, you know, hitting that tabletop roleplay stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a long time.
Hell yeah.
But it's been so drastically changed, you know, from what we used to play to what it is now, that it's almost become unrecognizable. Even the same thing for White Wolf.
Yeah.
I've been looking at the new stuff, same thing with Shadowrun.
Yeah,
Look at the new stuff, and it's just so unrecognizable to what I'm used to. I'm like, dude, what in the hell is happening?
Yeah, it's crazy when you miss like miss an edition or whatever. Like how the difference between third and fifth is.
It's all been
Night
like
and day.
super dumbed down. Like the complexity of when we played Mage the Ascension for White Wolf.
Yeah.
That game is what made it fun. But
Yeah.
you look at the new stuff and it's like, why is this so like brain dead simple? Magic was supposed, or Mage the Ascension was supposed to be complicated.
Yeah.
And actually make you think if you're gonna cast or not.
Right,
But now
yeah.
you can just, it doesn't matter.
Oh really?
And it's just not fun, you know?
Yeah, that is sad. I do like how in D&D they've dumbed it down. I play with my kids and stuff, and there's so much less math. Like, remember Daco, when you had to like hit armor class 0, and you had to do a whole equation to figure out if your D20 hit or not? That's gone. Now, and the same thing like when they tried to reduce the dice pools and stuff. You know, now you just roll 1 or 2. There's no more like modifiers to the roll. It's either you roll 2 dice, or you roll 1, or whatever.
Hell no, remember the DBZ game? I want to roll 5,000 dice. And I'm counting every 5,000 dice.
Oh yeah. I want to see them each individually roll.
Yeah. Oh man, some nostalgia there.
Hell yeah, that's good shit.
But we'll go ahead and end this episode here. Let me know down below if you guys like this and you want to see some more. I've been thinking about bringing on the Dude and the Grimace for some more discussion. So let me know if you want me to keep all these guys back, or if you want me to get them as a group, you know, so it can be very loud and hard to understand with 4 people yelling at each other. Just let me know.
If you play alchemy and you want your feelings hurt, I'm innate ability, man. Challenge me. Make sure your people are there.
We'll get it all.
Right.
We'll get it all. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.